discussion on an energy study for the school system. So let's move on to our regular meeting. This meeting is a meeting of the school board and public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There may be time for public participation as indicated by agenda items or as directed by the president. The meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact the superintendent at the school corporation central office. The meeting will be electronically recorded and will be kept on file in the superintendent's office. A copy of the audio recording will also be available on the NLCS website. At this time, if you would, please rise, uncover, and Wendy, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the record, all of our board members are present. All right. Our first item of business would be a review and approval of the minutes and executive session memorandum from our last meeting of December 19th, 2024, and then minutes also from our January 9th, 2025 reorganization session, finance committee meeting, and special session. Do I have a motion related to this action?
Make a motion we approve the minutes from December 19th and January 9th.
All right, Mr. King makes the motion. Do I have a second? All right, Ms. Miller seconds. All those in favor of approval of the minutes as listed, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Next on our item of discussion is a resolution for board compensation. And, who's going to lead us into this conversation?
So, I can.
Go ahead.
All right. So we brought this up our last organizational meeting, and so we had a discussion about this last year about if we had a record of all this, and so I did a little research and found that the state is state statute allows us to have a compensation of so much a year and then so much a meeting, and it's based upon the school commissioners from Indianapolis Public Schools. They set the maximum of each one this year, so I just made a recommendation that we do the maximum from the Indiana Code, which is $2,000 per year, and then we're allowed to do per diem up to $150 for a regular meeting, $75 for a special, and I recommended that we do $75 for a regular meeting and $50 for a special board meeting. We discussed the way we've done it in the past was if there's multiple meetings in one day, we would just get the per diem for the meeting that had the maximum. So I guess that's you can. So you're supposed to have a resolution. I don't think it's mandatory to have a resolution every year, but you need to have a resolution to start it, and you're supposed to update it each year at your organizational meeting. We couldn't find where we had a record when we did that, so that's what I did a little research and found this. So I guess we can't increase what the annual amount is, but we can discuss the per meeting amount.
Okay.
I think you need to call for a motion and then discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Can I make a motion?
Yeah, go ahead. Do I have a motion related to this item?
Yeah, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the presented resolution on board compensation for $2,000 per year, $75 per regular meeting, and $50 per special meeting for the 2025 year.
Okay. Do I have a second on this proposed motion, for the proposed change?
A second.
All right, so Mr. King makes the motion, Mr. Gilbert seconds. Now, further discussion on this item. So just to be clear, and I think I have from my notes from our January 9th meeting, right now, we're at $112 for a regular meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
And 62 for
112 and 62.
62 for special.
2,000 per year, 112 is the regular. 62 is but you capped it.
One.
You'll get paid per month.
Right.
I prepared a couple resolutions also just in case.
Okay,
Yeah, I've got.
we've got one on the, obviously on the
I've got one for status quo and one, I got three just in case.
Okay.
So it's back in, I don't know, I got a thing from the ISBA. It was written in 2019 explaining how the compensation works and all the meetings and everything. And at that time, the maximum was 112 and 62 because that's what it was from the commissioners at that time. So I believe, do they, commissioners meet and update that in each fall?
It hadn't changed for a long time.
Okay.
22, I think it was when it
Went back up, okay. Yeah, so what I found was from 2020, so 2022 they raised it, and since I don't think historically we did it annually here, that it, somebody just
changes.
probably saw what it was and changed it, yeah, so.
So it's,
I think the $75 for a public meeting is fair compensation, and the 50 is fair for a special meeting. So, and that's why I put those numbers in the resolution.
on top of the 2,000 per year, is how I'm reading this, right?
Yeah, that's the state statute, it's there in the first paragraph.
Okay.
Where does the money that compensates us come out of? Is it operations? Education.
Educational fund.
Because you move $4 million from the education fund to the operation fund. When I got here, you were doing 18%, the max you can do is 15%. So the goal is to reduce that transfer. Because the more money I can keep in the education fund, we're hopefully trying to raise teacher salaries and salaries of the district. That's why I brought Dennis in, to try to reduce the amount of operation costs that's coming to the district.
That's in utilities. And we have to reduce that, because we're using a lot of energy here that's, other districts are not using. So,
Let's be clear. We're not that scale of numbers is, if we're
but
talking
it is.
4 to 5K per year.
yeah, this is
board member,
this
you're
is
talking
absolutely a
28K.
very little bit of money that we spend for your for what you
I was
do
just
for
asking.
us.
The board is
I'm
not
just
costing
curious.
18.
Yeah, you don't make
So-
anything for
No,
what you
we're
do.
kind of-
I mean, let's be honest.
So if we were to meet only according to the schedule we approved 2 weeks ago, then the difference between what we have now and this resolution would be about $450. This would be $450 less for the year total,
So Greg, if
if we only met those, if we only met according to that calendar. I'm sure there'll be some additional special meetings added, but that, if we just went by the approved calendar right now, that would be the difference.
So Greg, if this resolution doesn't pass, do we have to approve a different one, or does it just stay the same?
You should, the statute does say you
Should have,
adopt the
yeah.
resolution.
Okay,
If you
so-
don't adopt one, it would stay the same as the previous, but
Okay.
we've got a status quo resolution
So
for
which-
you to approve too.
Okay, so I guess we
If
just
that
need to
doesn't
know
pass, you can make a motion to approve a different one.
which one we're voting on first. So which one are we, which one?
Well, the one that's on right now is the reduced one as
Okay,
presented
okay.
at last meeting and re-presented
Okay.
here. But then you said you have a status quo one, Scott, and then you also have what else?
Prentice Melvin's up, just in case, all right. A status quo and then the maximum.
The
I just did the three options.
Okay.
We can change it. We can
Is-
pick any number we want. We can write it in and approve it. It doesn't mean it's, as long as we don't exceed the maximum, we can pick whatever. We could go 25. We could go 149. It just doesn't matter as long as we don't exceed what the commissioners have set.
Correct.
And we're at the max already for the state statute. So,
For that 2K minimum.
yeah, maximum.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
there's no minimum, there's only maximum.
All right, so any further discussion on I'll call it the reduced proposal resolution from the board? Anything else from the administration? Okay, then on the resolution for the reduced amount of 2,000 per annum plus 75 for regular and 50 for special, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Please raise your hands also. Okay,
Aye.
I did not mean to vote right there. I was just indicating I want you to raise your hand. Okay, all those not in favor, please signify by saying nay. Nay. All right, so that does not pass. staying on the topic of board compensation and the need for a resolution, then I would accept motions regarding this topic still.
You said you have the status quo?
I do have one, yeah, I do have one that has $2,000 per year for the, and then 112 per diem for a regular school board meeting and 62 for a special board meeting.
So you need a motion to vote on that one? I
Yes.
so move.
All right, so I have a motion from Mr. Sokolin on the status quo board compensation. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Miller seconds. Now, discussion related to the status quo resolution.
So I'm curious why those who voted opposed the $75 one, why $75 wouldn't be fair compensation, but $112 is fair compensation. Can you explain why that additional $37 makes it more fair compensation for a meeting, public meeting or a special meeting?
I don't know that there is a huge and burning issue that we would, from my opinion, reduce the board compensation, which does not drive huge expenses one way or the other. At the hourly rate, I don't know that we need to necessarily break it down to the hourly rate, but sometimes and you're only given one of these per evening, right?
Per day?
So you're getting the $112 that might be spread over a 4-hour night. So, the longer we meet, and sometimes they go fairly lengthy, the lower and lower your hourly rate is. Not that it all breaks down to that, but I don't see the burning need to reduce the board compensation.
I think too, in thinking a lot about this, we do a lot of preparation, or we should be doing a lot of preparation for meetings where we read through all of this, and I take it from that I'm thinking of future board members. Getting people to commit to this is it's a lot of time and it's a lot of energy, and that's why I think that leaving it status quo is already low, and so I see it as being able to recruit. I don't mean recruit, not that we're recruiting, but that for people to serve on the board, it's already a tremendous amount of time.
Further discussion related to the status quo resolution? All right, if not, go ahead.
For this resolution, it would be the status quo where you're only paid once per evening.
It's in the resolution, correct?
Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure everyone was clear on that.
Yeah, it is in there.
Okay, thank you.
Which, at some point in my short tenure here of 2 years, that changed to where we were being paid for a special meeting, for a regular meeting, and if there, like tonight, there's a work session, regular meeting, and then an exec, there would actually be 3 different
But I
payments
don't
on
think
that.
that was ever actually voted
When
on.
was that changed? Yeah, because we didn't.
Fatima looked for all of that.
I've looked through all the records going back to 2022, and it's been the same method of payment.
So I thought,
But it's possible
I don't
that
think we
before
got
that
paid for that
time in the records, there's
Okay.
something else, and we can look more into that if
Maybe.
you'd like.
we could just make a resolution that we match Indianapolis Public Schools every January, just match what they do.
We could just vote what's on the table right now.
Okay.
Move on from the subject because we have a lot of other things we need to cover now.
Very true. All right, then closing discussion on this topic and moving to a vote. All those in favor of the board compensation resolutions or status quo as discussed, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
All right, that passes. Okay, moving on. Item D on the agenda, persons to address the board relative to the agenda. David, do we have any? So at the end of the agenda then, right? Okay. All right, then moving on to agenda item E, the Business Office, Ms. Carson.
Thank you. I'd like to ask the board for approval of claims and payroll since the last board meeting, which is actually the December board meeting we're referencing to, in the amount of $6,718,180.24.
I'll make motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Miller seconds. Mr. King makes the motion. Dr. Miller seconds. All those in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? All right.
I would also like to ask the board for approval of professional development for the Business and Human Resources offices to attend the Indiana Association of School Business Officials Conference in Fort Wayne, Indiana, May 5th through 7th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
All right, Mr. King makes a motion. We approve the professional development as presented. Do I have a second? All right, Ms. Miller seconds. Any discussion related to this? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? All right, that passes. All right, I believe next is item F, Human Resources, Mr. Unger.
Good evening. I'd like to ask the board the approval of the personnel agenda as presented.
All right, we have a recommendation to approve the personnel agenda as presented. Do I have a motion? All right, Ms. Miller makes the motion. Do I have a second? All right, Mr. Soakland seconds. Discussion related to the personnel agenda. Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? All right, the ayes have it.
Thank you. Also, item number 2, approval of the 2025 Human Resources Consulting Agreement with JA Benefits.
Okay, a recommendation of approval of the consulting agreement with JA Benefits. Do I have a motion? All right, Mr. King makes the motion. Do I have a second? Ms. Miller seconds. Any discussion related to this agenda topic?
Is this a renewal or a new contract?
This is, well, it's kind of a renewal. We did one last year, but I went ahead and wanted to make sure that it's not just a rollover. I'm going to bring it to you. And also, we worked with them to update a little more definition around the times we get, which is, you'll find in that proposal there.
All right, thank you.
So, in the last year when we've had this prior agreement, what, like, have you found this, obviously you're asking for it, helpful? Like, how does this help you? How does this help our school?
Yeah, it helps us in various ways. So the person that leads up the team is Sandy Brinson. She used to be the human resource director at Monroe, and she also has children in our district, so she is invested in our district in many ways. But they help us with things like sometimes we'll come across a previous practice we did that I find cumbersome, or also it's not really meeting internal controls. I can reach out to them and they can provide with me cross-pollination of what different districts have done, and that helps with that. Also, I'm hoping, we got several items in legislation this year that could really change a few of the things we do. Again, by working with this group, we can be proactive rather than reactive to those types of things. One of the things I hope they will do for us this year is we're going to work with them that they come in and train all of our directors and principals who act as hiring managers and supervisors in our leave policies, and also how to mitigate absences. So things like FMLA can be very confusing, and sometimes we get our wires crossed before they even get to us to help them. So we hope to train those people to make sure that they understand how that works, how we can help our employees, and then also how we can be in compliance, and then also fairness and justice around some of that. Sometimes there's issues with absences that sometimes people just don't understand how they work and how people are entitled to leave.
Okay, further questions or discussion? All right, hearing none then, for all those in favor of approval of this consulting agreement with JA Benefits, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? All right, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Unger. next on our agenda, we have Ms. Hudson on elementary curriculum.
Good evening. I only have one approval item and then a few FYI items for you this evening. The first is I ask for your approval for the Early Literacy Achievement Grant payments to our kindergarten through third grade classroom teachers, specialists, and instructional coaches. This is money that we are given from the IDOE, and we are responsible for giving that money to our teachers who are responsible for the implementation and delivery of literacy and reading instruction for kindergarten through third grade students in our schools. And this is for the 2023-2024 school year. So similar to TAG grant money that you approved a few months ago, this just focuses on grades K to 3 classroom teachers, resource teachers, reading specialists, and instructional coaches.
All right, have a motion for approval. Do I have a second? All right. Mr. King makes a motion, Mr. Gilbert seconds. Discussion related to the literacy grant payments.
I have a question.
Sure.
On this Indiana Department of Education sheet you provided, it talks about the grants based on these items. And some of these items, I mean, one of them is schools' growth and reading proficiency rate. Do you know what our growth was during this time frame? Do you have that right now?
From year to year, or from for the same group of students? So from the 2022-2023 year to the 2023-2024 year, we had a slight decrease in our overall iRead 3 pass percentage of about 2 percentage points.
Okay. And here it talks about the school's complexity index. You know what the complexity index would
I
be?
really am not sure what they're
it's not-
referring to. There were several bullet
it's
points that
confusing.
they gauge, that they give us the money based on. Our amount was really close to last year's amount. So I read the same memo, and I'm really not sure all the things that,
Okay. Thank
that
you.
were entailed there.
Thanks.
Okay, any further discussion related to this item? All right, hearing none, then all those in favor of approval of the early literacy grant payments as presented, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you. The next item is just the first reading of our policy on time and effort, semi-annual certification, and stipend documentation. We are required to have this policy in place. We did not have a policy when we were monitored in the spring. It was not an audit, but it was on-site monitoring through the Department of Education for our federal grants and special education programs. This was something that they asked for. We were not able to produce. So there's no Neola policy for time and effort that we have on file. So we wrote our policy with the help of the Indiana Department of Education fiscal monitors. They've worked with us graciously over the last few months to help us write some of those policies.
Okay, so thank you. And just stretching into the next part of the process, there'll be a first reading, a second reading, and
Yes,
then
so
the
if you
board
have any
approval.
questions, I'm happy to answer those questions between now and the next meeting when we will ask for approval of this policy.
Okay.
Ready for me to go on?
I think
Okay.
so. Thank you.
And David has some photos scrolling while I talk about the next few things. The next item is just an FYI item for you that North Lawrence Community Schools, we were awarded $75,000 in Project Lead the Way grants thanks to Kelly Terrell, our Director of College and Careers. Kelly wrote these grants for us back in December. We were awarded $20,000 towards computer science at Bedford North Lawrence, $15,000 toward Principles of Biomedical Science at Bedford North Lawrence. Bedford Middle School received a $15,000 Gateway grant to add a pathway at Bedford Middle School, so effectively another course Cassie Leonard teaches. And then our elementaries were each awarded $5,000 that will cover our site fees for Project Lead the Way over the next year. So thank you very much to Ms. Terrell for writing that, with those grants. The next item is a Lawrence County Local Coordinating Council Grant Award that our Family Engagement Specialist, Savannah Kidwell, wrote for us. Also in December, she was awarded $3,000 in funds from the LCC to address our chronic absenteeism and assist students and families by providing motivation and additional layers of support. So this will be through incentives to all of our elementary and middle school students who make gains in their attendance. The next one is the Youth Adolescent Physical Activity Grant. Dr. Megan Shipley, our school health coordinator, wrote this grant, applied for this grant, and was awarded $5,388 for Bedford North Lawrence High School. We're going to use this money to promote physical activity and provide mental health education by paying for 3 staff members, Christina Baker, Kelly Clark, and Amy John, to attend yoga and mindfulness in schools training through the yoga counselor. And then the remaining funds will be used to purchase yoga equipment for participants through Gopher. So the goal is to offer yoga and mindfulness to BNL students during their advisory periods and to BNL staff members after school hours.
I jump in real fast.
What did you say?
I got it.
Yes, sure.
So when I saw this, it says physical activity grant, and then it says yoga schools. So I had to do some research to make sure that yoga actually is physical activity. So thank you.
Okay, you should join them. I'm sure they'd be happy for you to join them.
That's why you need it.
And the last item is, we also received a grant for Playful Pathways specifically, thanks to partnership with eSolve Solutions. We were awarded $53,000 from the Lawrence County Community Foundation to be used at Playful Pathways, and the purpose of these funds is to expand early care education in Lawrence County. So you have write-ups of all those grants, but I just wanted to bring your attention to the people who make those happen for our corporation. We rely on grants for much of what we do, and so that takes a lot of time, as some of you know, who write grants, that takes a lot of time and effort that you put into those long evenings and after, definitely outside contract hours, writing those grants and securing that funding for our students. So thank you to all of those people,
No,
and
that's
thank
great.
you for your time.
And for those who aren't seeing what we're seeing, it allows us to expand for 24 more children in the 2.5 to 3 year old range. It looks like. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hudson. Up next, we have Dr. Erin Miller and secondary curriculum. I think I saw her coming. Yeah, there she is.
Come on, Abby, please.
Go.
Showtime.
You're not first.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah. Hey, good evening. Thank you for having us here at the board meeting. We've got part of our AVID team here, and we just want to take a few minutes and highlight one of the greatest things that's happening at the high school right now. And so, AVID, we are in our 3rd year at BNL, and we just want to share with you a bit about what AVID is. We want to hear from students and staff how AVID impacts them. And then certainly we're going to ask you to give us more money so we can get more AVID. So, Dave, if you'll click one, here is our site team information, just a few of us. You don't need to see us. On to the next team. This is just teachers, administrators that come together each month. We kind of map out some things, and then we want to share what AVID is. And so when you think about this mission, the goal of AVID is advancement via individual determination. Our goal and the mission of AVID, both as a collective and then certainly for us specifically as an individual, is to eliminate this opportunity gap that exists between haves and have-nots. And so we want to put into place a resource and a program that helps kids that may be at risk or just need that extra support. And so that really brings them up to the playing field with the mission of college readiness, career readiness, and employability as we move them through the graduation experience and prepare them for life. And so move on to the next slide. This kind of gives you the full details of what AVID is in the background. But ultimately, let me sum it up for this. AVID is about supporting teachers in all classrooms, and it's about supporting all of our students throughout our building and bringing together rigor and support in classrooms. Okay, so we know if we have a classroom that's just rigorous with no support, students can struggle. Vice versa, if we have a classroom that's all support with no challenging expectations, again, students struggle. And so when we match those things together in all of our classrooms, that's when we can produce our best students and certainly promote their best success. And so that's the heart of AVID. You're going to hear a lot more from Mr. Stuck one of our avid elective teachers, and then of course some of our great students. So.
All right, thank you, Mr. Canada. All right, well, thank you for having me. Yes, my name is Ben Stock. I'm one of two. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm one of two of the avid elective teachers. Miss Anderson is the other avid elective teacher. She's not here currently, but I teach the freshman avid elective class, and Miss Anderson currently has the sophomore and junior avid elective class, which is combined together. And she has the seniors, the 12th grade avid elective course as well, and that's just one semester. But freshmen, sophomore, juniors, that's for the full year. Yeah. All right, next slide, please. Perfect. So for the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, the avid elective, just kind of how it's set up, we really focus on like 3 core areas to help mentor our students, provide that support that that many of them are looking for, that many of them need. So the first one is that rigorous academic preparedness. We're just trying to help students develop those academic skills they need to be successful, to prepare whether if that's for college or like post high school careers, secondary curriculum experience. Also, there's some great cooperative learning that we have within this elective program. There's something called TRFs. It stands for Tutorial Request Form. And what we do with that is that we have students bring other material from different classes that they're struggling with. So maybe it's science, maybe it's social studies, math, English, anything like that. And they use the TRF form, which we can only have access to through the AVID program. And they discuss, the point of confusion. They write down their steps. They try to basically work through whatever confusion they have within that class. And in the AVID elective class itself, we group them up based on the content that they're struggling with. And it's basically student run. I help facilitate it. They get in those groups, they help each other, they work through their problems. And the idea, of course, is that some people are better at math than social studies, some people are better at social studies than math. So they try and help each other, and they learn some really great skills that even adults should learn, right? But they're learning at a very young age, which I think is a great part of the program. Also, there's the opportunity knowledge. Students have research opportunities, set goals, make choices. My current freshman students, they've been working on their 2025 vision board, so trying to figure out what they want their year to look like. And it's really about their long-term goals for their final exam. For my freshman students, at least, they wrote an essay about their life goals and about their careers and how they can achieve that through high school, through college, things of that matter. And it's really just trying to help navigate them for that next level post high school. What does that look like? I used to teach seniors as well, and I would have a lot of senior students tell me that they are very stressed and concerned about life after high school. So I think it's great that we start with these students as freshmen and kind of get them thinking about what that could look like for them and their own personal futures. And then that student agency for that, for that third area, where it's just that self-confidence, having these students learn self-advocacy at such a young age, I think it's really important. And the AVID, it's an acronym. It stands for Advancement Via Individual Determination. And Ms. Anderson, myself, and everyone else who's a part of the program, we're just trying to help lead these students and help them, build their relationships, persist through obstacles that everyone faces throughout high school, and making sure that their academics are solid and that they create those connections within the classroom. Like I said, I'm very impressed, honestly, with just that cooperative learning I see within my freshmen, because typically you kind of expect that with upperclassmen, but it's great I feel like, to start young and to kind of see that progression throughout high school. Absolutely. And then, like I said, the AVID 12 elective, Miss Anderson also teaches. That's just for one semester, and she does so many amazing things for our students at BNL, so many amazing things for this AVID program. She really makes sure that these students apply to, she says, a minimum of 5 colleges, and Miss Anderson tells me that they are basically guaranteed to be accepted into at least 2 of those colleges. She also helps them with the FAFSA process, obviously, of college admissions. And she helps them with the scholarship application process as well. They apply to anywhere between 7 to 9 scholarships. And it's only a 1-semester course because in the second semester they get accepted into college, which is obviously the ultimate goal for a lot of these students. And yeah, she just helps them, honestly, with a lot of things that high school students struggle with in terms of getting ready for college. I know myself in high school, I never really had that help for FAFSA, for scholarships. And if I had someone like Miss Anderson, if I had a program like AVID when I was in high school, I think it would have been a much smoother process, a much less stressful process. And as far as the students that we see in these programs, I mean, it can definitely be arranged, but typically they're in the academic middle. They're highly motivated to succeed. Like I said, they obviously joined the elective for a reason, and we're there to kind of help them throughout high school, help them with their goals, their vision for their future. Like I said, we really focus on that post-secondary pursuit, whether if it's college, career, military service. I have students who want to, it's a whole mix. It's a whole mix of goals and ideas for what they want to do after high school. And we just provide that support. Ms. Anderson says it's kind of an all-encompassing role, focusing, like I said, on their careers, but also on their academic success, their social success, making those connections, just providing that additional support that I feel like a lot of students sometimes miss throughout high school. And also just making sure that they have, regular attendance. I don't have the exact numbers, but I noticed an obvious difference in attendance between my AVID elective freshmen and the freshmen sophomores I have in my world history course that I teach. It's quite impressive how often these students show up for my AVID elective class. It is really great. And a lot of students, well, maybe not a lot, but some of them might also be first generation students in a family to attend college as well. And like I said, they might not have that support at home to make those steps to get to college, even if that is a goal that they have. So that's where this program just really helps those students, whether it's, like I said, college or career, whether if it's military service or trades, anything like that. We just try to help guide them and provide the support that they need. Yeah. I'll pass it on to Ms. Darrow. Go ahead.
I have to have notes. I wish I could wing it, but I can't. I get off topic. AVID school-wide, not every student at BNL is enrolled in the AVID elective course. However, every student does benefit from the AVID research-based instructional strategies. All of the teachers at BNL have participated in some form of professional learning around the AVID instructional strategies, and those strategies are implemented into their classroom. So every student at BNL does benefit from the AVID elective framework. And then on the next slide, I could go on for days about this, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can because I know we're on a time crunch. But this is the AVID College and Career Readiness Framework. So looking at this framework, there are 4 words in gray: instruction, systems, leadership, and culture. So anytime you go into a school, these 4 things are happening. Schools are obviously perfectly designed to get student results. However, there are always gaps. There are always gaps in schools. So this is where AVID comes into place. AVID helps close those gaps. So if you look up at the top, Mr. Stuck's already talked about the rigorous academic progress, the opportunity knowledge, and then the student agency. So this is what the students need. So these are student outcomes. So by placing students in a learning environment that engages them in rigorous academic progress and experiences, we provide them with a variety of opportunities, and then we help them develop that student agency. It helps them become confident. And they can, as they go post-secondary, they're ready for life and they're ready for career. So obviously, our teachers play an important role in this process because they're here for student success. So teachers, they insist on rigor, they break down barriers, they align the work, and they're an advocate for student success. So AVID supports educators, as Mr. Canada mentioned earlier, and they provide a learning environment for students that is challenging. It's supportive, and they provide students with the tools that they need to be successful. And then looking on that pyramid, there's collective educator agency. So when educators take an intentional actions based on shared beliefs and trusts, they increase opportunity and success for all students. And then we have relational capacity. And that's the foundation in which, upon a safe learning environment, a respectful and engaging relationships are built and are meaningful. So the students that Mr. Stuck has as freshmen, they move on, and he builds those relationships and establishes those instructional strategies with students as freshmen that will help them as they progress through school. The framework is research-based, and it's an effective model for minimizing opportunity gaps and develops college and career readiness in all students.
AVID has an instructional framework. Everything that they do is centered around 5 elements, and that would be writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. So anytime that our administrators go to training or teachers, everything is about how to develop these skills in students and how to develop instruction that supports these skills. So student actions that we would like to see with AVID, we would like for students to write frequently across all content areas and use citation for support, research for support. We want students to ask questions. We want students to think critically. We want students to engage in a problem-solving process. We want students to work together. We want students to work through problems together. We want them to clearly communicate verbally and non-verbally and listen effectively. We also want students who are organized, who self-advocate, who self-direct, who self-monitor. We want them to learn to study effectively. I know AVID does a lot with studying. We want students who read. They read a wide variety across all content areas, rigorous reading, and the critical reading process. So the learning experiences that we like to develop, one of our big ones would be the focused note-taking process, so that blends the reading and the writing. We want them to write across content areas. We want them to be skilled at questioning techniques and problem solving. One of our bigger collaboration structures that we implement across all content areas is Socratic seminars. And our teachers use Jigsaw, peer editing groups, and collaborative study groups. We also do, again, the focused note-taking process, graphic organizers, SMART goal setting, and then discipline literacy, critical reading process, vocabulary building, summarizing. Then you see the focused note-taking process again there. So these are just some BNL statistics that I want to share with you. So we started the AVID program in the 22-23 school year, and in that year we had 52 AVID students, and since then we have grown all the way up to 87. So you can see on that graph the breakdown, what grades they are in. But I also wanted to share with you, we talked about how AVID really is a support for our students who might need additional support getting into college, developing these skills. They might be first-generation students or free and reduced lunch. So whenever we started the program, 18 of our students were in that free and reduced kind of pool, and now we are serving 49 of those students out of our 87. So that's one of our goals with our AVID program.
So professional learning for AVID, it's AVID's Communities of Practice, and the professional learning, it's high quality learning that meets the diverse needs of all educators, and I'll give you a minute to read that slide before we go on to the next one. And then AVID offers a variety of professional development opportunities. They can be in person or they can be virtual. They're engaging, they are meaningful. You know, I'm sure some of you have participated in a virtual training before, and it's one of those things where you just kind of, you listen, and you do a little bit of work, but with AVID, you know, when you do professional learning virtually, it's something that you're engaged in. You're working with other school corporations, you're in breakout sessions, you're having those conversations. You're not only learning from the AVID professionals, but you're also learning from people from other school corporations and learning what they're doing and, you know, ideas that we can implement at BNL. So I can't say enough great things about the professional learning opportunities for us. And then AVID Secondary, our team consists of administrators, coordinators, content teachers, counselors, elective teachers, coordinators, district leaders, pre-college and post-secondary support as well. So we have a wide variety of people who are on this team to support our high school students. And then the next one, I feel like I need a clicker. If you want to go back, I didn't know you had changed. I'm sorry, David. So our site team teachers have participated in the Summer Institute. I think we've gone 3 years now. That's an in-person training. AVID Ignite training, those are virtual hybrid leadership workshops. Dr. Miller and I have attended a couple in-person trainings in Indy, so I can't say enough great things about the professional development that they provide for us. So thank you.
My name is Amelia Menke. I am a sophomore student at BNL, and I've been enrolled in AVID for 2 years. I enrolled in Avid because I thought it'd help me prepare for college and become the best possible student I can be, and it has definitely helped me do that. While in Avid, my teachers have encouraged me to do everything I can to my abilities and to try really challenge myself throughout high school so I can do better in college.
Hi, I'm Sammy Nussbaum. I'm a sophomore. I've been enrolled in Avid freshman and sophomore year. I first enrolled in Avid because I thought it would help me stay on track with my schoolwork in college, and it indeed does help me stay on track with schoolwork. Makes me want to be better and pushes me to be the best I can be. I'm still enrolled because the teachers are great and they help me with like everything I need help with. They always ask me how I am or like how I'm doing in school, and they always like do like grade checks and like make sure that we're doing okay. Even when I'm struggling at the hard times, they still make it known that they're still there for us. Avid has brought me closer to a lot of different people I can connect with, like with the Socratic seminars, with the TRFs. It has shown me asking questions isn't always a bad thing. Also, taking notes does help, and it's not just a waste of time if you do it efficiently. So we all, a lot of high school kids hate taking notes and like hate asking questions because they're scared, or like they just don't want to, they don't see the point in it, but they have taught us how to actually take them more efficiently and how they can actually help us and proceed on to college.
So I think I was supposed to print my notes, but I forgot, so I'm going to have to use my phone. So I am a senior. I'm Mason King. I didn't take Avid 9th, 10th, or 9th, 10th, or 11th. Oh, there it is. 9th, 10th, or 11th, so I can only speak for Avid 12. We did a little bit of note-taking. We did one Socratic seminar, but the main focus of Avid 12 was really, like, applying for college. Applying to college is not easy. You have to, like, the Common App, putting in all your information isn't that bad. It's nice to have someone ask questions and stuff, but it wasn't, I could have figured it out, but the real problem is, like, the FAFSA and the scholarships and really just holding yourself accountable. It's nice to have somebody there who can really push you and make sure that you get all your things done. It's easier, like for me personally, it's been a long time since my dad applied to college, no offense, but I'm the oldest grandkid and nobody has really done all the stuff on the computer and stuff like that, so it's nice to have somebody there to walk me through it, and they give you a paper when you make your FAFSA information so you can write it down so you don't forget it, because kids don't ever write anything down. And Miss Anderson, the teacher, she's great. She's just really, the Avid is not only just, helpful for applying to college, it's kind of like a study hall. Like, it gives you a place to do the college work, but if you're really in a bind and you need to get your schoolwork done, you can. I probably spent just as much time venting to Miss Anderson about all the work I had to get done that I did actually, doing my college essays. And the essay too, it's really nice to have somebody there to look over your essay and like tell you what you need to fix so that you're not stressing about it being good or not. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, and Miss Anderson, like I said, she's not here tonight, but she's great. I can't emphasize enough the work she does just at B&L, but especially through this program, it's amazing. And even though I miss, my freshman students, they become sophomores and they go on to Miss Anderson. I know they're in great hands, and I just want to make sure she gets the credit she deserves, even though she's not here tonight. Also, I have two more, just a few more messages to, I guess, share with you all from two of the senior Avid students who could not be here tonight. So I'll share that real quick, and then we'll just go from there. So this is from Maddie Keene. Hello, my name is Madeline Keene, and I took Avid 12 during the fall semester with Miss Anderson. When picking classes for my senior year, I decided to take Avid 12 because I had heard that it was a class that would allow me time to apply for college and scholarships, which can be difficult with my packed schedule. Additionally, I knew it would be partnered with an English teacher, which was important to me, as I wanted my admissions essay to be as flawless as they could be. Taking the course was all I wanted and more. We were given structured time to apply for college, peer-reviewed one another's essays, and got one-on-one help with them through Miss Anderson. On top of that, we did a module on financial literacy, specifically talking about the FAFSA and student loans. I learned many things that I did not know before, such as private versus federal loans, which I believe will help me later when I have to start applying for these things. Ms. Anderson also made the class fun in every way she could between activity sheets that helped us engage in the lesson and Choice Fridays. I believe everyone would take the class again, and I would recommend. And then also one more from Ellie Horton, another senior AVID student. I am unfortunately not able to attend the meeting due to the fact that I am a finalist for the Evans Scholarship. Although I am not able to be present for the meeting, I want to advocate for the AVID program. If it wasn't for Miss Anderson and the AVID program, I may not have been a finalist for this scholarship. AVID opened my eyes to many different possibilities and opportunities that I have in the future. Without AVID, I would have never known where to start and would have been overlooked with all of the unknown that comes with moving on to the next chapter in life. Miss Anderson provided me and many others with a place to come and ask questions and understand what the future holds for us. She was there every step of the way, making sure we were prepared and ready to put our best foot forward. AVID did not just give me the best chance for my future, it also gave me an amazing mentor who wanted nothing but the best for myself and all of our students. And like I said, I just wish I had this when I was in high school. It would have been so much easier. The transition from high school to college, it really would have made all the difference for myself. And obviously, I'm fine. I made it through. But I think I think it's a real service to our students, and I really appreciate you giving me the time to share these. Thank you.
Just to wrap this up, we wanted to share the freshman application process with you. Counselors share with our 8th graders about AVID. They get the application, the students fill it out, and then our SLT team comes to all the middle schools, and we interview the applicants, and we meet, we talk about the applicants, and they're accepted into the program. So tonight we did want to share with you about AVID. We wanted to give you more information because AVID does come at a cost. The annual cost is $4,499 a year. With that, we get AVID curriculum, My AVID resources, participation in any virtual workshop, or AVID professional learning modules, and year-long program support with an AVID program manager. So it is a program that helps our early college program. It helps our students with college and career, which is a huge focus, and it's really working. I anticipate that the program will only continue to grow, especially in that AVID 12 area. It's a really great elective, and it's really great for our freshmen. All of them, really, and we just ask that you would continue to support us and support this program as we support our students at BNL. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you especially to our great staff. Thank you especially to Amelia and Sammy and Mason for coming forward. We really appreciate that, hearing from you guys. Any questions or anything further for our AVID program?
Yeah, thank you. As somebody who works in higher education, I think all of the things that you're like students with note-taking and writing across subjects, all of that is extremely valuable for any students. So how many do you accept per year with the application?
Basically everyone. We
Okay.
we find value in the process, and AVID really also finds value in the process. So we get them in, it gives them an opportunity to meet. One of our AVID elective teachers is there, and then Ms. Terrell and I are there, and it gives them an opportunity to ask questions, but it also feels like a very formalized thing, and it's really neat. And then sometimes students will come in, they'll be like, I don't think this is for me, and that's okay. So yes, basically everyone.
Okay,
Anyone that wants to be in it.
That's
So,
what I wondered.
Yes.
If we needed to somehow make it so that more kids could get in.
Does AVID fulfill a requirement for high school, or the buckets or pathways?
On the diploma or
the diploma requirement?
Yes, yes. It meets the same bucket requirement as our Prep CC for freshmen.
A tip for the students: it's possible that your grandparents also know how to do forms online on computers. So, just an FYI.
I'm impressed with Socratic seminar. I don't think I've ever heard anyone use that word, much less a high school student. So that's impressive.
It's really amazing. We have it in our core curriculums, not just in the AVID. And if any of you want to come see it, let me know, and I can arrange it.
All right, next on our agenda item I, Mr. Yancey.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons. We are asking for approval of Bedford Middle School replacement chiller. As you look, there is a mistake on the first paragraph I just found. It is not the high school chiller, it is the middle school chiller. So that is the correct price, but I wanted to make sure you all saw that there is a mistake that I will take care of tomorrow before I sign this. That does not include the labor. So this went down over the freeze we had. We lost the glycol, that is like alcohol. It doesn't freeze, mixed with water because a seal ruptured. And the water went in where the chiller is, and it froze and busted all the pipes of the chiller, so it made it obsolete. That chiller is about over 20 years old, so it's right at its lifetime. So very expensive piece of hardware to go at $254,260, and it will come out of the bond.
Okay, I have a recommendation for a purchase of a replacement middle school chiller. Do I have a motion? All right, Mr. King makes a motion.
Second.
Dr. Miller seconds. Any discussion related to this? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the ayes have it.
Thank you. We are asking approval for the 2025-26 Playful Pathway calendar that you have in your packet. It mirrors the calendar that you approved last year.
Okay, have a recommendation for approval of the 25-26 Playful Pathways calendar. Do I have a motion? All right, Mr. King makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? All right, Mr. Gilbert seconds. Any discussion related to the Playful Pathways calendar? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right.
Thank you. We are asking approval for the Parkway Intermediate Elevator change order. We thought we could, you passed for the elevator to be replaced last month, but the doors are going to have to be replaced. It's not going to work. So that is a $13,000 change order.
Okay, would entertain a motion on the recommendation to this elevator repair at Parkview Intermediate. All right, Ms. Miller makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Sokolin seconds. Any discussion related to this item? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you. We are asking approval for an out-of-state field trip for Bedford Middle School to attend Education in Motion. That's at Kentucky Kingdom on May the 15th, 2025.
All right, I would entertain a motion relative to this field trip.
So moved.
All right, Dr. Miller makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Gilbert seconds. Any discussion related to this topic? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of approval of this field trip to Kentucky Kingdom for BMS, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you. We are asking for approval of an overnight field trip for Bedford Middle School to attend Kings Island Amusement Park on April 25th, 2025 through April 26th of 2025. Also, there was an added information on this for you. I think it deals with the music department.
Okay, have a recommendation for approval of a field trip to Kings Island for, looks like, Performing Arts Festival. Mr. King makes a motion to approve. I have a second. Ms. Miller seconds. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you. We are asking approval of Administrator Assistant Service Contract. This is for a special education consultant. And I do want to thank Susie Swango that's in the audience here as being our interim director at this time. This individual will help Susie as we prepare for the budget for special ed. Her name is Mrs. Woods, and she's out of Carmel, and she would be here about 1 day a week.
Okay, have a recommendation for approval of Administrative Assistance Agreement or Service Contract. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, Dr. Miller makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Sokolin seconds. Any discussion related to this item? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you. At this time, can I go through your FYI packet real quickly for you?
Yes.
First of all, Mr. Parsley, I need to apologize to you. I told you the wrong fund. that you're paid out of. Again, my mind, you're paid out of the operations fund. You're not a teacher. So, but the operations fund is subsidized by the education fund. So I apologize to that. The first part of your FYI packet is the strategic plan full document. This is a draft for you to look at. Is quite a few pages, goes through the process and our goals and strategies. I would like to ask that we do a work session either February the 13th or at the board meeting February the 20th for about an hour. We can talk about this later when we'd like to put this on the calendar, but we would invite the public that helped prepare this plan as we see any changes that the board would like to do. Also, you have what's called the strategic plan one-pager. Looks like this. This is probably what people will look at because the document is long. This really tells our goals and strategies, what we're trying to look at here at North Lawrence over the next few years. This gives you at least 2 or 3 weeks to take a look if there's any changes that the board would like to do to this document. This does not have to be approved by the board, but it is a template to help us in future when we decide what we're doing in the next 2 to 3 years here at North Lawrence. The next is, in your packet, is a proposal for the, we had to purchase some Chromebook chargers because we're going to synchronous learning if we have snow days. So that means kids will have to take their computers home with them, and the elementary will need chargers, so they will have to take those with them. That was under the threshold. I need to ask the board for approval, but I like to be upfront what I spend money on. So as you can see, that was about a $25,000 cost. The next document is the JA Operations Audit Report that you approved a few months ago. I have been able to sit down with JA and go through this, how we reorganize our structure here, not only at the central office, but all the way down to the custodial level, especially that we know, everyone will know who their supervisor is and also who's in charge of doing the evaluations. We will have a meeting on this, hopefully the February 20th board meeting, an executive session, and Yancey's putting together a timeline to implement this document. It was very helpful, and I do thank the board for allowing us to have this audit, but I think you need to take a look at it. The next is information regarding the 2025-26 first day teacher guest speaker that I would like to hire. The theme next year is student engagement. This year's theme was student attendance, the importance of being at school. Next year, we're going to focus on engagement, not only in the classroom, but also in all of our activities at North Lawrence. This gentleman is exciting. I'm happy to say we about got him lined up to come our first day, our teacher first day at the PAC. And he will help us as we start out this endeavor to make sure we work to get our students engaged here at North Lawrence to improve academic success. And there's quite a bit of information. That is actually 3 bundles there about him. So I just wanted you to take a look at that. Also, I wanted you to have a comparison of the 2025 maintenance staff comparison to from 2016. As you can see, we have cut our maintenance down by half. So I'm still looking at consolidating resources and reallocating funds, and most of the reallocation has been in raising salaries for these individuals, and we're outsourcing some of the work that's being done in our district now by our maintenance. We have to continue to take this organization and shrink it to our student level. Because you got to remember, when this corporation was founded, or when we consolidated 50 years ago, you were this large, at over 8,000 kids. You're under 4,000 today. So we are funded by how many students we have by the state. And as tax dollars get tighter, we have to be more efficient. So we're continuing to look at where we can restructure here at North Lawrence. And as you know, last year we took on the bus restructuring. I've started with maintenance also, and we will continue as we restructure how our cost is over the next few years. But I just wanted to show you the difference that's been made of what you used to be and what you are today. So it's almost in half what it should be. So just to give you a FYI on that. Next is guidelines for synchronous learning. I used to call this virtual learning back in the day. This will be used. North Lawrence did this during the pandemic, and then it was kind of dropped. We're bringing it back in for snow days, as other districts do. So this will be given to our. It's already been given to our teachers, and we're preparing to use this in the near future. The only thing is, Steve we have to make sure if we have a snowstorm on Monday, we have to tell the kids on Friday to please take their computers home with them, or it's not going to work. So I want to thank Steve for all the time he spends in helping me predict this weather. That's not the easiest to do, and I do appreciate it. And he is on the phone with other superintendents around the area to make the best call for the safety of our kids.
Can we dwell there just a moment? So,
Okay.
to be clear in what's written out here for the board members, so we talk about e-learning or virtual learning, and you made a distinction between synchronous, which means you're live online with the teacher,
Yes.
and asynchronous, which is a packet you take home or something you can watch.
And we used to call that e-learning back in my day.
And that's what you're calling e-learning. And we are allowed, according to this, up to 3 asynchronous learning days,
Yes.
2 of which are taken up by our use of the schools as polls for the primary and the November election. So we have one more asynchronous day that I think is already, is it allocated anything?
No.
No, okay. So there's one more asynchronous, and you're preparing the school then to roll out essentially live virtual synchronous from home type of learning. You say that'll be soon. What's soon in your prediction?
Soon will be a week. We have to have the plug-in chargers for the elementary, or it's not going to work.
So chargers for the Chromebook.
They should be here Friday. We'll distribute them on Monday to the elementaries.
So should the big storm we had here a couple weeks ago have occur, or should it occur again, or should it have occurred with us?
We would go 2 to 3 days of virtual
2 to 3
learning,
days
what we
with
call synchronous learning.
Okay, thank you.
I think after 3 it's tough. So, but we need to implement this because other districts are doing it, and I think our teachers have the skill to do it correctly.
Okay, I know there's been a lot of discussion around that here lately. I think people are very interested in how we could mitigate some of this stuff. So thank you.
The next document is NLCS Elementary Release Days, early release. I wanted just to show you, we have a binder that we keep all the early release material for you if you ever want to see that, what we do during those times. But it's crucial as we get working on these tests, as teachers work on common assessments, they will start implementing this as this is going to be part of our data that we'll be taking on to track our kids' success, especially in English language arts and mathematics. The next is I wanted you to see a report from the chronic absentee students data from last year. As you can see, wherever mine's at, it shows the absenteeism at area schools, and here it is. Looks like this. One of the things we decided to, our theme this year was student attendance and the importance of student attendance. Since the pandemic, the state of Indiana is in a crisis of kids not coming to school. And I think it was imperative that our school corporation lead in showing the importance of our student attendance here at North Lawrence. And I am proud to say the first semester we're up about 6% from the previous year on school attendance. I want to thank our principals and our communications director as they continue to show to our public the importance of sending your students or sending their children to school. And right now at the high school we're up. We're still working with our seniors. They dipped finally below 90%. The goal is 90% attendance rating. And as a principal of a high school for 15 years, I can tell you senior attendance is a tough ordeal. And it's important that our seniors be at school. Just as it's important to be at our jobs that we have as when we're adults. So it's a great thing to be at. It's we need to be there. So, and we made great strides, but I just wanted to show you what the IDOE has sent out and why we address student attendance at the beginning of this year. The next is the NLCS Family Engagement Specialist, Ms. Kidwell, and I want to thank her. She secured over $9,000 in grants and donations of the fall of 2024. This is important, as you can see what that money is being used for. North Lawrence does a great job. You have a lot of great directors and principals here that are always looking for grants to try to help our students, and I appreciate the effort, Ms. Kidwell, bringing in those donations. Next is the Project Lead the Way Summer Training Grant information. Just wanted you to take a look at that for that, how much work that application is and what we're using that money for. And then last but not least is the 2025 Spring and Summer Maintenance Projects. These are the projects that we will be doing, and I think over the last 2 years you've seen, and everyone has seen in the district, all the projects we've been doing to bring our facilities up. And the two major projects that are coming is the HVAC remodel at Shawswick and at Needmore Elementary School. And we are also bringing that up with LED, all new ceilings, ventilation, and we will be doing cosmetics there. So this is a major renovation that will start in April. I've been in contact with the principals to get our teachers prepared because you are seeing HVAC is a tough project. Shawswick, when Needmore, will have state-of-the-art HVAC, what it should have been years ago. So there will always be questions why Dennis was here. But I hope you know that we have two major projects being done by Performance Services right now. They were hired before I came in. I really do believe in competition. I like Performance Services, but I do like the style that PSG does. And we do need a new facility study. So I will be going in front of the board and asking you to approve PSG next month, and also approving them to do a facility study. Once we have the study, then we will pick what we're going to fix in the next in our facilities over the next few years. So it's exciting times here. We're very blessed to have a amount of money to start these projects. So I think our students will see the benefits of what you have done over the last 2 years of all these projects. And again, as you know, I'm a go-getter when it comes to our facilities. And I'm proud of what our directors have done also, not only in our facilities, but facilities has a huge thing to do with curriculum and how our students feel. We've seen this with playgrounds. We've seen this with roofs that you've replaced. It's very sad when you're in a building and you have a bunch of buckets around and the water's coming in there, and your air conditioning doesn't work, or you have humidity problems. So as you will see, there's more HVAC that has to be done in the district. That I will come to you shortly and ask for your approval to bond some more money to do some more repairs. These things take about a year to prepare for. So you know the Shawswick and Needmore project didn't start yesterday. That started about a year ago. This process is a long process to get this going. That's why I always have to be ahead of the game. We have to be thinking what we need to be doing in the next 5 years. So is there any questions? This is a lot of information. It's giving you time to look through it, and then before I bring it to you, then you have time to ask me questions personally if you do. But I like this format to give you a lot of what we want to do in the future where you have time to study it. And we just don't come to you the week before the board meeting and say, hey, we want to spend this money. I really do feel like we're a team here at North Lawrence, and I really value your input. So,
I have one question.
Yes.
Now, these are quotes signed, but do we have a project in process looking at any sort of window work at Shawswick Elementary? Parkview Elementary?
We've done partial there. We have to do the facility study there to know where we're going next there.
Okay.
But no, we do not have a project going on at Parkview.
Okay.
We finished the roof, and you are putting the elevator in, but that's a minor.
So when you say we don't have facility study, yet we went into these Parkview and Shawswick projects. I recall reading and seeing some review of their controls, for example, out at Needmore. So was that just a limited scope?
No,
facility
that's
study, or-
you have. I think we have a pretty good plan of HVAC from your old study that was done before I came here. So I've been using it as we've been repairing and going, and I've had 4 of our buildings are going to be in pretty top-notch shape after a year and a half from now. We still have 5 other buildings, so we're going to have to continue this process of bonding and fixing what we already have. It's just, I think we need to have a template of a good study that allows us to look more than at the HVAC. So,
All right.
Was that from the performance services?
performance services,
Okay.
I have the binder in my office.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Yancey, anything else on your agenda topic? All right.
Thank
then,
you.
Moving on to our next to last item, persons to address the board not relative to the agenda, and I have Mr. Tim Brook. Are you still here? Still with us? All right, very good.
Once again, Joe Chimbrook, Lawrence County Economic Growth Council, Grow Lawrence County. Just want to thank you for allowing me to address a couple of things in my 3 minutes tonight. First thing is the Career Center is just moving right along. As a community, we are so proud of that Career Center and the things that they're doing out there. We are running right now our 19th Introduction to Local Jobs and Skills class with machining, welding, and construction. Mr. Holmes, I can't call him Mr. Calvert Tyler, and Brett and Mr. Gilbert doing an amazing job. We have 27 students. That's the most we have ever had, and we probably won't ever have that many again. We've learned a few lessons just from a quantity standpoint, but they all will have next steps. Most of them are going to go into a full-on certification welding or construction job with Wagler, which is free, so we have waiting lists for those classes now because the demand is so strong. So we're really excited about that. In fact, welding and construction certification classes start next Monday and go for 5 to 6 weeks, just depending. For those classes, every student is income for the Career Center, just so you know. That's how it's built from a state standpoint, next level job grant through the state. So there is a financial benefit to every student that is at the Career Center through adult education. But like I said, all the classes are full. We are starting a new one. It's called Introduction to Local Jobs and Skills Health Sciences, and that starts a week from Monday. It's our first go-around to try to, if you look at reports on the jobs needed, a lot of them fall into the health science category. We can't manage this one like we've been managing the last one for 19 cohorts, so we contracted Vincennes University to be able to do that for us. We met with them today out at the Career Center, Mrs. Redmond and Mrs. Evans and VU. They fell in love with the health science part of the Career Center. They said it's the best health science in a Career Center they've seen in the state of Indiana. So we're really proud of that. All the work that's been done out there, the donations, that kind of thing. They're ready to go. They're really excited. We're even bringing over a dental chair from Stonegate Arts and Education Center because part of the health science thing is doing dental assisting or the introduction to dental assisting, but we also have a teacher that's going to do a 3-month free certification class for those that want to do that right after that health science course. So no cost to them. They'll become a dental assistant, and everything's free. We like free. Let's see.
Joe, these are adult learners you're talking about here. Are these student or adult learners that you're talking about?
These are adult learners.
Right.
We sneak in a couple of students every once in a while, depending on the circumstances, but we're also creating an introduction to local jobs and skills for youth, and that's in the planning stages now. And so that'll shift that direction. So it'll look different. More soft skills and a lot of things they were talking about with earlier will be part of that as well for all those students. So lots of decisions to be made from that standpoint. I need to tell you that we just signed an agreement with a company or an organization called Safe Haven, if you've ever heard of them. They do a lot of things, including recovery, but one thing they do is free transportation. through Lawrence County. If you ever have been involved in the justice system, or you're involved in the justice system now, they provide free rides for you to. They'll do it to school, for groceries. I mean, we tested them this week, and it worked really, really, really well. Before we said anything, we want to make sure we're not going to look like idiots, you know. And so we're excited about that. More details will be coming out shortly as far as that goes. But we desperately need to be able to get around Lawrence County, and this is one. Even though it's a limited scope of people, if you're not justice involved, you don't qualify. But a lot of people are and don't have driver's licenses and that kind of thing. So we're excited about that. I will tell you also, you've hired a night custodian out at the Career Center. She's wonderful. I'm telling you, she's so helpful, cleans that place like nobody's business out there. And so I just want to mention her as a great hire out there for sure.
Thank you. I have to bring you to a conclusion here, Joe.
Do I?
I said I have to bring you to a conclusion here.
Okay. Is that 3 minutes already?
4 actually.
I wanted to say, all right. Then I don't have time to say that. Man, Mr. Stokeland, you look really good in that suit. That's all I got to tell you.
Don't get used to it.
Okay. I worked for him 25 years ago, so he never was in a suit then. All right, that's it. I just want to thank you for all you do for the community. The system is getting absolutely amazing. Thank you
very much, Joe. All right, finally, in closing business, I believe we have Mr. King with spotlights and highlights.
Okay, I'll run through this. Parkview Intermediate. Parkview staff and volunteers are gearing up for our first ever hosting of a VEX robotics tournament. We have 35 teams from across the region, Indianapolis to Washington, competing in the tournament. We're excited for the opportunity to learn from so many other teams. Parkview 3 through 6 semester 1 attendance awards, 15 students for perfect attendance present from bell to bell, and 187 students for good attendance, 95% or above present bell to bell. Our 6th grade students collaborated with the kindergarten and K2 building for Kid Invention Day. The students created, designed, and built their inventions. It was a great experience in communication and collaboration for all. Lincoln Elementary School. Our robotics team is working hard to prepare for the upcoming tournament at Parkview on February 1st. Last week, students in Green Thumbs made their garden shopping list looking through favorite seed catalogs to find flowers, vegetables, fruits, and herbs that interested them. We also germinated some flowers, pepper, and tomato seeds. We are also winter sowing and milk judge this week. The children each sow their own seeds last week from the table of seeds. Today we are in our 3rd cutting from our hydroponic tower to provide lettuce for the school's salad. February 3rd through 7th, Lincoln Student Council will host a February drive for Bertha's Mission. Food drive for Bertha's Mission. Shoswick Elementary School. Our 6th grade students have been exploring 3D printing. They have created sensory objects from their kindergartners to spend time working with our kindergarten students on how to use them. The students have expressed that they like 3D printing because it is fun and interactive activity that helps them with the measurement and sizing. Our 6th grade students even created one sensory item for each of our 7 school board members to enjoy. Shoswick will be hosting an iRead3 parent guardian information meeting for Shoswick's 2nd and 3rd grade families on Tuesday, February the 4th, where families can learn about the assessment, hear from our principals, instructional coaches, reading specialists, and teachers about what we are doing to prepare our students to read proficiently. We'll be hosting our 2nd annual Shoswick Showcase on February 20th. Students can showcase their skills and talents in any way they choose. Last year we had students showcase their passions for displaying artwork, knitting and crocheting items, singing, dancing, writing poetry, putting on skits with peers, and even a jiu-jitsu demonstration. We can't wait to spend time showcasing the incredible, unique talents of our students. Nemour Elementary. Our student council is hosting a donation drive for the Bat Cole Foundation and received this message from Cole's mother. On behalf of the Bat Cole Foundation, we would like to thank the Nemour Student Council sponsor, staff, and students for all the wonderful toys, coloring books, crayons, and Band-Aid donations you gave us for this season. We are so grateful for your kindness, friendship, and generosity. You are allowing us to spread cheer and bring smiles to the kids that are in the hospital or undergoing procedures and honoring Cole. Thank you so much for all you have done. Wishing you a happy holiday season and happy New Year. The Winfield family and Bat Cole Foundation. Our student council provides the morning announcements, and this past week we started going live to the classrooms via Google Meet. The students did a great job and it's added some fun to the morning announcements. We want to thank our amazing PTO for their hard work during the Christmas season. They provided lunch for our staff, sold candy canes for a fundraiser, hosted a breakfast with Santa, morning and overall. They just do a great job of providing fun for our students and supporting our staff. First semester's attendance rate was 96.5%. We are proud of our students and family for making attendance a priority. Bedford Middle School. Bedford Middle School finished out the first semester with a reindeer games event. Students and staff came together for a fantastic day filled with games and activities that strengthen our school community. The energy and joy throughout the day made it truly special. A big thank you goes to Hannah Stoltz, Kurt Alvey, and Brian Turpin for their hard work and dedication in organizing this memorable event for our school. At BMS, our students and family continue to show their dedication to learning and growth. This commitment is reflected in our improving attendance rate. Strong attendance is a key factor in student success, and we're proud of our school's community's effort to prioritize school every day. This Saturday, BMS will host the third annual Mark Starr Cutter Classic Basketball Tournament. This special event honors the life and legacy of Mr. Mark Starr, a beloved former BMS teacher and coach. All proceeds from the tournament benefit the Mark Starr Scholarship, supporting NLCS students in achieving their educational goals. We look forward to welcoming teams and fans to celebrate this impact in our community. Gateway Academy. Gateway Academy ended semester one with 281 high school credits earned. We had 2 2024 graduates finished and 8 2025 graduates completed early. Our second semester roster begins with 50 students, 9 of which are participating in our online CT options. B&L. B&L is proud to commend our students for their increased attendance rate for the first semester. B&L achieved a 92 attendance rate as a school, a positive increase from the last school year. B&L also wants to celebrate our success in our credit recovery programs to support students' achievement. Our Star Plus program earned 211 credits in the first semester, and our Gateway Academy earned 281 credits.
All right, thank you, Scott. Finally, planning upcoming meetings. Our next regular scheduled meeting is a series of public work session on February 20th, public work session at 5, regular meeting at 6, and executive session to follow, similar to tonight's format, but starting at 5 versus 5:30. There was mention of a potential public session that might be called the week prior, so we'll stay tuned for that. With that, I believe we have hit every agenda item, and I would accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Dr. Miller makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. King seconds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Thank you all.